UFC 323 did not disappoint, guys. We crowned two new champions in Petr Yan and Joshua Van, and we saw the end of two absolutely amazing title reigns, ending in two very different ways. We're going to get into it. First, kicking off with Merab versus Petr Yan, and again, as mentioned, two title reigns ending in two very, very different ways. Merab coming in the second fight between both Merab and Yan, and it was very, very interesting to see the difference between the two fights. I mean, Merab has been a stellar champion. He has taken on all comers, and this was his fourth title defense within a year. This was a record that he was trying to achieve, and it was probably a hurdle too far. What can we say? Firstly, Petr Yan with an absolutely amazing performance. He showed so many abilities and skills that showed why he is regarded as one of the best in the division. He is now a two-time champion, completely deserved. There's no doubt in my mind that he deserves to be calling himself champion today. He went out and imposed his will on Merab. His striking was amazing. His jab was amazing. He continued to exploit Merab's growing confidence, I would say, in his striking. Yes, Merab has got better, no doubt about it, but Yan is on a completely different level. He is on a completely different level. And when you couple that with the takedown defense that he had this fight, absolutely mind blowing. Merab has always shown his grit, his determination. His gas tank is second to none. But Yan was in the form of his life, not only from a striking standpoint, but from a takedown defense standpoint, from an endurance standpoint. He was there to have a fight, and he was continuously showing his skills. You can see from the stats again that he was there. Yes, there was a lot of output from Merab, but the accuracy was Petr Yan's. The takedowns, there was a lot of them from Merab, and he has a problem where he will spam his takedowns and he will get not as many as you would expect, but also he doesn't hold down his opponent for a long time. And even in this fight, you can see from the amount of takedowns that Yan had, he was game. He was game. He was taking down Merab and he was holding him down for a lot longer than the time that Merab was actually holding him down. So it was surprising to say the least. And again, Yan has shown takedown defense before. In the first fight, Merab spammed a lot of takedowns but wasn't able to hold down Yan or keep him down for a long time. But his ability to hold him against the cage was something that strengthened his ability and stopped Yan from having the striking output that he was looking to have. And this wasn't the case in this fight. From minute one, he had Merab on the back foot. He was jabbing him. He was causing damage. He was leaving him in a position where he had to chase the fight. And he chased and he chased and he chased, and Yan was just delivering punishment after punishment after punishment. If it wasn't with the jab, it was with the body kicks. If it wasn't with the body kicks, it was with the takedowns. It was matching Merab anywhere he went. There was a point where he essentially allowed Merab to chase him and kept him in the middle of the octagon, not allowing him to take him down or hold him against the cage or put him in positions where he's not able to explode. This was again a masterclass from Yan, and he showed his ability to come back through adversity. He was the champion before, and after the fight, he spoke about not being completely 100% the champion that he wanted to be at that time. He hadn't had the full skill set that he needed, and he needed to take a step back. He needed to develop himself, and that's exactly what he did. And so, again, what can you say but an absolutely amazing performance from Yan? Merab will need to climb that ladder once again. I think an immediate rematch would be what I would be calling for. However, you look at Sean O'Malley, you look at the UFC and the trajectory that they're going on. If he was to win his next fight against Song Yadong, that will be a fight that the UFC may just want to put together. O'Malley versus Yan. Don't put anything past them at this present stage. Merab, again, the effort was there, the energy was there, but being able to defend himself and control the fight just wasn't there. And that's something that he needs to look at. But we have a new champion, a deserved champion, and it's what, 5 years since he won the championship last, maybe. What a story to get yourself back to the top of the mountain, and you have to give nothing but respect to Petr Yan. I think the best performance I've seen from him in the UFC, and one that's deserving of a second bantamweight championship. We move on to our second championship fight, and one that ended very, very quick, and one that's very bittersweet for me. I mean, Joshua Van is someone who I've really, really liked on his come up. I love his fighting style. I love how aggressive he is. I love how he comes to essentially just bang. Like, he's here for a fight. And Pantoja is, to me, one of the greatest champions that the UFC has had. His ability to not only fight and go forward, but also what he does on the ground. His rear naked chokes, the ability to take out top level competition, no matter who the UFC have brought, and his ability to actually raise the flyweight game has been amazing. And he brings on a different level of fight. And I think this fight to me was going to be one of the best. I was looking forward to this more than I was looking forward to the Merab versus Yan fight, if I'm being honest with you, because I just love Pantoja's game. I love what I've seen from him since he's become champion, and even before then. He is a record holder in this division, and Joshua Van, I think, was going to bring the fight, and it was going to be one for the ages. But what we got was a fight that ended within 30 seconds, and it was heartbreaking to see, if I'm being honest with you. We didn't get much action. What we saw is Pantoja going for a kick, Joshua Van catching it, and in him pushing Pantoja down, Pantoja tries to break his fall, and it looks like he essentially pretty much fractured his arm, broke his arm. It didn't. There was some discussion around it being a dislocated shoulder. From what I've heard and from what I've seen on Twitter, that doesn't seem to be what it is. It seems like he actually fractured his arm, and again, it's so bad because you wanted an amazing fight. You wanted potentially, if Van was going to become champion, he does it in a way where he has ripped it from the hands of Pantoja, and instead we get it from an absolute freak injury, and one that was, it was hard to watch, to be honest with you. It was very, very hard to watch. An absolutely amazing champion, somebody who's very likable, somebody who comes to fight. He's had issues in the past as a champion where his cardio wasn't there because of how much of an output he puts into the early rounds. And when his fights do go 5 rounds, you can see him wane. But over the last couple of fights, he hasn't even had the ability to go there because he's been taking people out left, right, and center. And so, yeah, it's bittersweet. Joshua Van, again, was getting some hate online for his celebrations after he won. I don't really hate on him for that. He's just achieved a dream of a lifetime. However, it was done, it's not really his concern. He did say he wants an immediate rematch with Pantoja. How long it's going to take for Pantoja to come back is another question within itself. But yeah, it hurts. The absolutely amazing run he was on. I think this was going to be his fourth or fifth defense of the title, and an absolutely amazing run. Yeah, it's hard to watch, but we just have to wish the best for Pantoja. I do believe he will come back, and I do believe the fan in me, he will become a two-time champion, and his legacy will grow from that. Van, whoever he does face next, hopefully it is Pantoja. If not, and we may just have gotten a look tonight at his next opponent. It will be one to watch, because I do think Joshua Van was the rightful number one contender, and he was going to bring a great fight to Pantoja, probably one of the best in his title reign. Moving on, and we did make sure to discuss that there could be another potential fighter who would be coming for that flyweight championship, and we have that contender in Taira. He was absolutely amazing tonight. I have to give my hats off to him. When I saw his performance against Moreno, and I knew Moreno was up against it. He, being the former champion, has been winning in his last couple of fights, has taken a couple of L's. Tiara, again, is somebody who is ascending. The only loss I remember him having in the UFC, which is the only loss he has, is against Brandon Royval, which was a split decision. Everything else, and I kind of think he did win that fight. Everything else he's done in the UFC, if his fights against Hernandez or Perez, he's been amazing. And he showed it once again in his victory against Moreno. Moreno was on the back foot from the beginning of the fight. There wasn't a moment where I saw him fight that I thought, you might win this, you might get this out. No, Chiara was on top. He was dominating. He was taking control of Moreno throughout the fight. And the finish, where there was some discussion of if it was a bit early, maybe partially, but not really. He was in a dominant position. He was raining down blows. Moreno wasn't offering up much of a resistance, and the only thing that would save Moreno is the image or the appearance or the reputation that we have of him. He was dominating from the opening bell all the way up until the fight ended, and he is a worthy challenger for Joshua Van. That fight between him and Joshua Van, if it does happen before Pantoja does get back, will be an absolutely amazing fight, and it's one that I would be looking forward to. Next up was a retirement fight for Henry Cejudo versus Talbot. Again, this is the past versus the present slash future, and it was a really good fight. Actually, I actually enjoyed it. Henry Cejudo did come to fight. I'll tell you that. I'll give him his respect. He did come to fight, but Talbot was on another level from the wrestling. Yes, he took down Henry Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist, but not only that, his striking, his precision was second to none, and that's the Talbot that we want to see. I will not allow the UFC just to forget what we saw in the fight that Talbot did lose against Barcelos, and Barcelos does deserve a lot of credit for what he did. But Payton Talbot is somebody that will bring a fight, and he has developed in areas which cost him in his previous fight. The wrestling, the takedown defense, the ability to continue to improve his game is one that I really do like to see. And an evolution of a fighter must be respected. This was a fight that he dominated. Henry did have a couple of moments, but again, this was Talbot at his best. This was Talbot ascending. This is the biggest victory of his young UFC career, and it's one that puts him in a position to potentially have some bigger bantamweight fights in the future. He has the length, he has the range, he has the striking ability. He seems to have the takedown defense now and some repertoire of wrestling. It is against Henry Cejudo, who is coming to the end of his career, but it's one that you have to respect. It's a victory that you have to respect because Henry was game and he was there to fight. There was a brilliant montage for him after he finished the double champion of the flyweight and bantamweight division. You can't take that away. Olympic gold medalist, you can't take that away. I've had my problems with Henry. When he beat DJ, I was furious. I didn't think he won that fight, to be honest with you. I still don't think he won that fight. But he has shown a level of determination and a belief in himself that you just have to respect. And so it will be by to Cejudo. But again, we are seeing a bantamweight division which is full of potential and full of promise, and Payton Talbot will be somebody who will be reckoned with going forward. Moving on to the opener of the main card, we had Yan versus Guskev, and again, this was a fight that I really actually enjoyed. It did end in a draw. Both men were here to battle. I think in the beginning of the fight, Guskev was the one who was actually pushing the pace. He was the one that was looking more dangerous. He was coming with a lot more of the power and a lot more of the kind of awkward style that he has, where how he throws his punches from weird angles was catching Yan unaware at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight went on, Yan was the one who was pushing the pace. Yan was the one that was catching him. Yan was the one that was seeming to be more dominant in what he was doing. And if you were asking me who I would have scored the fight for overall, I probably would have said Yan, if I'm being honest with you. But a draw can't really begrudge either man. For Jan, this is painful, to be honest with you. I think he's had 2 draws in his last 4 fights. Not ideal for somebody who wants to get themselves back up the light heavyweight rankings. But again, this was a good fight and it was one that I enjoyed, and it was a brilliant way to open up the main card. We will take a look at the prelims. Grant Dawson ended up losing to Torres. We had Terrence McKinney who faced Chris Duncan. It looked like McKinney was in a brilliant position to win that fight, but Duncan was game and he leveled him with an absolutely cracking elbow, finished it off with the choke and gets the victory. Macy Barber with another victory was pretty dominant from her side. She continues to ascend up the flyweight rankings, and it will be interesting to see who she has next. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else of note here. Marvin Vettori losing once again. This is 4 losses in a row for him. Not ideal at all for the former title challenger. It's hard to watch from his side, and it's not pretty. And he will be hoping that he can get himself on the right side of a fight very, very soon. We also saw the return of Jalen Turner as well, and he returned with an absolutely emphatic victory, essentially discarding of Edson Barbosa, the legend. And I'm saying legend because what he has done in the UFC over the years has been brilliant. But Jalen Turner is back. I really don't understand why he retired, I guess, the pressure of being in the lightweight division, and understanding your dream of becoming a champion is very, very difficult in a division like that. But he has all the ability. He has the size. He has the striking ability to take him very, very far. And it's all about the mentality for Jalen Turner and how he comes about it. He also has the ground game. He really does have a unique skill set for the division, and I'm hoping it will take him very, very far. The only other fight I will cover very, very briefly is the Abdul Malik win. He is building himself up to be a very, very impressive challenger in the middleweight division. We will see what the future holds for him. But again, he finishes his fight with a choke, dominant all the way throughout the fight, and shows his ability to rise up. Guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Again, major takeaways are the crowning of two new champions done in two very different ways. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe. I'm back now after a long hiatus and I've missed making videos. So guys, I will be back with UFC content, football content, all of the things I enjoy, and hopefully you enjoy too. It's been EDA. Peace.